So not much has changed on this particular build as far as the gear we're running, outside of the fact that we now backbar a different weapon, and just overall this build got a big buff. I believe we were around the 6,000 spell damage mark before. Now we're actually pushing over 8,000 spell damage when we're fully buffed. Even on that tooltip that you seen earlier, it did not have the 600 spell damage for our magic damage abilities, because that doesn't show on the tooltip because it's restricted to just the magic damage abilities. So that's what's pushing us over that actual 8,000 mark. We're running dual swords for our attack bar. You can put whatever enchant you want on these. I never actually swing to hit anybody with the swords. It's strictly there for the twin blade and blunt passive out of the dual wield skill line, and basically that will increase our overall damage by 6%, and that counts everything, whether it's direct damage, whether it's damage over time, any of that. So it's much more well-rounded for the build. On our back bar, we're actually using the Master's Lightning Staff. I've not taken the time to go back in and farm any of the perfected versions yet. So with this, now our weapon damage enchant on an infused is giving us 452 spell damage. But with casting the Destructive Touch ability, we're picking up another 600. So one quick cast on our back bar with this, and we're over an additional 1,000 spell damage that we're buffing our character. It's really good for what we're doing. We're running Slime Crawl to get our Major Berserk up at all times and a little bit of extra crit. And we're with Soul Shine for our last set. This is doing a little bit less damage than it previously was. However, now instead of it only affecting our channeled abilities, we're actually just picking up a straight spell damage buff. So it's helping out our healing, it's helping out everything in that regard. So it's a much more balanced set. And with the fact that we're running the Masters and the additional buff to War Maidens, we're not missing that little bit of damage drop off from this set. Our big pieces for chest and legs are going to be infused with Tri-Stat enchants. Everything else is going to be in Divines with Magica enchants. As you can see, only got purple, so we are losing a little bit of resources off of the enchants, and a little bit of the damage also, with the fact that our jewelry is all infused with spell damage, but 2 of these are purple. So I only have one of the Undaunted for max resources on the passives also. So your build, if you gold it out and do everything, you can get a little bit more damage out of it. You can also get a little bit more max resources out of it. For our Munda Stone, we are running the Apprentice for the raw spell damage. Clockwork Citrus Fillet for our food. We do keep this character in stage 2, so we get the extra 300 spell damage every time we come out of stealth or invisibility. For our attack bar skills, we're using Purify Light. This is more for group-oriented play when you're just executing people, and you can take that out and put something on more defensive or even jabs if you wish for solo play. Radiant Oppression, this thing is just probably the best execute in the game as far as its raw damage potential. Inner Light out of the Mages Guild to get our Major Prophecy and a little bit of extra max resources. Javelin. And Dark Flare. Now we're basically treating this like a snipe. So our combo, we're going to throw 2 Dark Flares up before they know they're being hit, and then immediately launch the Javelin. The Javelin in the second Dark Flare will land at the exact same time, and depending on their health at that point, you can go ahead and ulti if they still need to take a lot of damage, or straight into Jesus Beam if they're ready for the execute. Back bar, we have our Remembrance just for old crap heals, Extended Ritual, Channeled Focus, Honor Dead for our burst heal, Degeneration for our major sorcery, Shock Reach, proc the spell damage buff for our masters. Again, on the vampire, you want to make sure that you have these 4 passives to ignore the movement speed penalty for sneaking, and for Strike from the Shadows to get the extra damage buff. We are a high elf on this build. Basically, getting the 5% less damage while we're in a channel is phenomenal for a Templar. Max Magica, and then that all-important spell damage. For our champion points, we're 56 into Warlord, the 1 extra point into Siphoner, 37 into Tenacity, 56 into Arcanist, 50 into Shade, 56 into Tumbling, 14 into Befoul, 51 into Elfborn, 56 into Elemental Expert, 51 into Spell Erosion, 61 into Master of Arms, and 51 into Thaumaturge. 51 into Ironclad, 34 into Spell Shield, 56 into Resistant, 35 into Light Armor, 20 into Thick Skin, 37 for Hardy and Elemental Defender. For our potions, we do run a wider array than I normally do for most of my setups. We do have Essence of Detection, Tri-Stat Pots, Essence of Invisibility. Go ahead and be able to vanish for the 15 seconds, get an immediate heal, and the heal over time. It's phenomenal for the survivability, especially when you're working it as a gank type of play style. And Essence of Spell Power. Alright guys, I wanted to keep this one pretty short since not much has changed with this particular build other than buffs making it a lot better. But I did want to take the time to thank each and every one of you, and also mention that if you are on Twitch and would like to give me a follow over there, there is a link in the description below. We're getting close to the point where I can go ahead and file to become an affiliate, and we'll start live streaming over there much more regularly once that happens.